This week, we ran a series of stories about interpreters in Afghanistan and what's going to happen to them now that the U.S. is pulled out completely from the country. Many believe that the Taliban and other extremist groups will now quickly exterminate those who help the opposition, and some, including a former NATO commander, says the total withdrawal could result in the collapse of Afghanistan. You can find a link to the CNN article that quoted retired Navy Admiral James Stavridis in the description of this video. We started the week by hearing from Todd Brehmer, the veteran service officer of Manitowoc County. He pointed to the Vietnam War and how the government treated the Hmong and Laotian citizens who aided in our efforts.
Promises were being made that if things go south, don't worry, we'll pull you out. Now, unfortunately, it took outside third-party organizations finally bringing the Hmong over here to fulfill our promises.
I was able to reach out to the interpreter that I actually served with in Afghanistan, Abdul Jamal. He worked with the Army for 7 years before finally making it to the U.S. and has been living in Texas for the past 7. He explained why the Taliban and some other locals didn't like it when their friends and neighbors aided the Allied forces.
If somebody is working for the U.S. Army, you are pretty much against the culture. You are pretty much against everything. In that time, the education level was very low, and the people, many people, they were brainwashed by the insurgents.
And because the education level was so low, Jamal explained it was rather difficult to explain to the locals why the Taliban was so bad and why the Allied forces were actually trying to help them. As for those who did see what was really happening, they didn't really have anywhere to hide.
There was nothing that you could protect yourself. You working for the U.S., you have to leave. That's the only thing. You must leave. Doesn't matter. If you don't leave, it's going to be dangerous.
Jamal recalled going to the villages with the Army and said people couldn't wrap their head around the fact that he was actually trying to help them and keep them safe. As far as getting the interpreters out of the country, Jamal said that should be pretty simple.
I did work 7 years. Right now, I'm 30. 7 years, and 7 years I've been here. So it's almost 14 years. Whatever I learned from you guys. So there is no reason that I can be wrong or bad,
He finished up our conversation with a pretty simple and direct statement.
Bring them over here, give them the opportunity to live.
I was also able to speak with 2 U.S. congressmen on the issue, Republican Glenn Grothman, who does represent Manitowoc County, and Democrat Ron Kine, and they did something very few politicians do who are on opposite sides of the aisle. They actually agreed.
I think we do have to look out for the people we allowed to believe would be on the winning side if they stuck with the United States.
Our honor, our integrity is on the line. We have to take care of those who are willing to risk everything to cooperate with us in Afghanistan.
Grothman did also tell us work is being done to help these allies.
The purpose of the bill that I voted on the other day was to expedite that. And I think for this 20 to 25,000 people, it will not be something where they're hanging on for years or even a lot of months. We can't afford to hang them on for months.
Links to the full versions of these stories can be found in the description of this video. I'm Ryan Brahm reporting for Seehafer News.